Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next unscripted podcast for NetNomads community. The theme tonight is the dance between the known and the unknown. And the inspiration for it came about from during one of my meditations, because we've been working with the whole thing of abundance and what is abundance and what does it feel like and what is lack and scarcity. And a really big thing that came up for me was um, our society and the way we're living is all about living in the mind. And the work that we're doing is moving to living through the heart. And an insight that came through, which was like, whoa, is our mind is the known. That is the 0.0000001% of all of life. And our heart allows the rest of the 99.99999, however many times it is, percent to flow through. So it's not surprising that we feel that something's missing. It's not surprising that we feel there's lack and scarcity, because if you look at it that way, yeah, we're only dealing with a micro fraction of what's available. And it's quite wow. So the idea behind, I mean, as we know doing this work, the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the brain's.
Wow.
And I mean, it just boggles my mind completely that we are still so mind-centric.
Yeah.
And it's very easy talking about, living through the heart, living through the heart. But until we get to that stage of trusting our hearts and trusting the flow, and not wanting to control everything, not wanting to have safety and security. That's something that comes up all the time. I want safety and security, and because of that, we go for the known. And there was a really cool quote. I hope I got it in this one. So the thing is, what? Oh no, where's it gone? I'm dealing with so many different books. I've got quotes from here and quotes from there. But it was basically the known, as we know with Dr. Joe's work, is the known that creates, the known is based on the past and it's trying to predict our future. But all of this is known just on everything that we know. It's not giving any room for the unknown. And some of the things that Dr. Joe talks about is when we embody the future self, we're feeling the emotions of the new reality before it manifests. So we're creating the coherence and the elevated emotion in the unknown, which is the quantum field, and we're bringing it into us, into the known. So we're making the unknown known. And then this is this dance between the known and the unknown.
Yeah.
Norma, what are your thoughts on this so far? And I'd really love this to be a bit of a conversation that let's just chat about where we're at and our experiences and insights so far of doing this journey.
Well, I've got a question for
Yes.
you. What is it about trusting our heart that we don't feel as comfortable with, as reliable with? Because you said at the beginning, I can't remember the exact frame of words now, but
Yes.
you're essentially saying we don't trust our heart when our heart kicks in. So what's all that about?
My understanding of that is that it's a lot of this is to do with our emotions, is that we've rejected anything painful, that our society and our cultural conditioning doesn't allow us to feel pain. It doesn't allow us to sit with the difficult emotions. And that's the realm of the heart. Our heart is able to cope with all of these emotions. But because we just, painkillers this, painkillers that, we know, like, just numb everything. So we are, like at the toddlers having the temper tantrum. We condition them out of that because it's socially unacceptable. But we designed to do that.
Yeah. I remember visiting a French friend, actually. They lived near Troyes, near you, Elizabeth. I was talking
Yeah.
about it the other day, and um, this friend rang me up. She was 46, and she went, "Wow," down the phone, and she said, "I'm pregnant again." I know, it was amazing. And they have this beautiful, beautiful child. And I went to visit them. They were living in America at the time. I went to visit them in Connecticut.
Mhm.
And the young daughter was, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. And she would have these full-blown tantrums. Like, I'd never seen anything like it in the world before. And she would have them in the middle of the supermarket. And my friend would just have to scoop her up and take her outside and put her in the back of the car. And she would just lock the doors and leave her in there till she'd exhausted herself, because there was just no way of stopping her.
Yeah.
And she is the most gorgeous human being today. Yeah, I mean, unrecognizable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And gosh, it's a lot to cope with, isn't it? All of these emotions of the heart and such like. So, how come then? I'm going to ask loads of questions because I'm
Awesome. Cool.
really diving into all of this at the minute because of book club and
Yeah.
everything. So how come we're ready to trust our intuition or our gut instinct then, rather than,
Because that's also an analytical process.
ooh, is it?
I think so. Because
Oh, not my
it's
book. Intuition and
yeah.
gut instinct is just that knowingness. There's nothing analytical about it at all.
I and I could hear what you're saying, but there's also the element of where, unless people are able to differentiate between their true gut instinct or whether it's fear that's coming from a limitation or a block.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about true gut
yeah, yeah.
instinct. You know,
Cool.
when you just
Well,
know.
yeah,
And you'd have no idea where it's come from. Like me having left the UK,
yeah.
saying, I am never coming to England ever again.
Yeah.
Sat after boozy night at the World Travel Market in a hotel in London,
Yeah.
and I turn around to my Austrian pals saying, I'll come back to England and run your business there for you. And I'm thinking, who said that? Yeah. So yeah, it's for me, intuition and flow or gut instinct
Mhm.
is like being led by your true self down a
Yeah,
particular path,
yeah.
and it has absolutely nothing to do with analytical
Analytical.
minds or whatever, because
Mhm.
it comes from a place of pure knowingness, pure knowledge.
Then what is the difference between that and your heart?
Well, that was my question to you. You
Then what is the difference between the gut brain and the heart brain?
Well, they're definitely connected, aren't
Mhm.
they?
Yeah, yeah.
And, we know that I just love how David Clements describes the heart. And I've been diving into that. And,
Sorry, the divine sweet form of love. I
yes,
mean, what a description
I
for
know,
people.
I know, I know. It's just exquisite. And I mean, to find a physicist who talks the way he talks is just
He's
sensational.
a physicist.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we know that the heart has brain
Mhm.
cells.
Mhm.
We know that there's a deep connection between the brain and the heart. I can't really tell you, I don't think, what the difference is between heart intelligence and intuition, and
Mm.
maybe that intuition is the inner recesses of our true self, which is really all about that heart and soul intelligence, isn't it?
But could it also be that the gut is your body's intelligence? You know, because your gut is the safety and security, and that's the bits that tell you, are you safe in the world, you know, physically. So it maybe the heart center is you know, coming from the cosmos through, whereas the gut intelligence is what is in the body, and it's the body interpreting all the sensory experiences, all the sensory information.
Hmm. I don't know. I just feel, I mean, it could be, couldn't it? I just feel with the amount of brain cells in your gut as well, there really has to be that deeper link
Absolutely.
to the subconscious mind, and maybe that is the link. So are we then saying that there is a difference between the gut subconscious mind intelligence and heart intelligence? Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Well, for me, that's how I really understand it. Because if you know, using the energy of the blessing of the energy centers as an example, in my understanding of it is that when we give our attention to each of the centers, we're giving that energy so it can connect with its higher self. And we do that with all of our centers. So it's our body, because our body has its own consciousness as well. I mean, it's really funny. I always talk about this being that is me as we, the royal we. It's quite funny, but I do see everything as a.
a good look in the UK at the minute, Victoria. Go down that path.
I just can't help that joke. It's really funny. Sorry, my namesake. But the idea is that, you know, every cell has its own consciousness. Every organ has its own consciousness. Every energy center has its own consciousness. Every system has its own consciousness. So it isn't just me. I mean, you know, each of us are made up of this vast array of different elements and different consciousnesses. And just like we are a consciousness that is part of Lady Gaia.
I quite like to think of it as a network of consciousnesses.
Yeah.
Consciousness. And, you know, I guess for me, each of them will be feeding each other and bringing more experience, more sensory input, more ways of tuning into the intricacies of whatever's coming through. But that divine intelligence from source, and our source is the universal source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my understanding of it is the heart center is what, you know, basically governs everything. And then it's by creating coherence through the heart into, you know, like the Botec 10 is about connecting with your heart and then connecting each your heart to each of the centers.
Yeah.
And for me, that's pretty much it. Because we are having our heart create the coherence. When we tap into the heart, we are tuning into pure source love. And then that is then tuning into the rest of our being, and of which we have our body, which is subconscious mind, and then we have our mind, which is the analytical mind.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
But it's really interesting because I had the most incredible experience physically, where something was going to happen later on that like pulled the rug out from underneath me. But my body gave me a warning like hours before.
Yeah.
It responded in a way that it was completely unusual for me. It's like, hey, where did that come from? What's this all about? And it was just like a forewarning.
Wow.
And that for me is the gut instinct, that intelligent body. So for me, I'm absolutely, rooting for our emotional awareness, to increase the emotional awareness so we are able to cope with all of these full range of emotions and not see them as something that we need to remove and send packing. And also for us to really tune into our body's wisdom, because we actually don't know this technology that we're inhabiting. And it is the most sophisticated technology there is on Earth.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes, it is indeed.
Breath work is a big thing. Meditation is a big thing. It's really, really cool.
I'm kind of hesitant to say something because I'm new and it's being recorded, and I'm a little shy in terms of that kind of stuff. But I had a coherence healing today, and without kind of getting into specifics about it, what was really interesting to me is that I've worked for years on, peeling back the layers of understanding, myself, and trying to be a better person. And what came up during this healing, I actually was given hints about it this morning when I was doing the homework for the breaking the habit of being yourself.
Mhm.
And two people who passed, who were really important in my life, came up during the homework for me. And then they came up really strongly during the coherence healing.
Wow.
So I feel like they were visiting, they were giving me
Yeah.
a little pre-warning, as you were talking about. And so I basically sobbed through much of the healing.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. But and I could feel it really cracked open my heart. And it was for a lot of reasons I didn't mourn properly.
Yeah.
And so I had been working on all these other things, which were really important. And I'm glad I did. And it's made a difference. But it seems that whatever they tapped into,
Yeah.
and the other side who's trying to help me was
Yeah.
tapping into, was something else completely different, which was just healing, dealing with my grief.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
yeah. So I think that ties right into what you
Yeah.
started out
Absolutely.
with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
And to be able to just sit with those emotions and sit with that pain and see it for its healing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
I honor your journey.
Mm.
I love the visual you've put up on the post. I was just having a look at their Let's Dance. A little dance between the known and the unknown. And it is a bit of a dance, isn't it? The dance of the living field. And that dance between, and I know it's not left brain, right brain, because Jill Bolt Taylor talks eloquently about how there are elements of left brain in the right brain and elements of the right brain in the left brain. So it's sort of 4 quadrants now. I think, I mean, what I've grasped from what David Clement says, that we open the heart and allow awareness to expand. We stop being observers and start becoming the movement. We start tuning into that vibration and that flow, that convergence with everything. And does then the heart become that point of coherence, bridging both hemispheres in the brain, tuning in with the heart? And is it that beautiful, I want to say piece of clockwork, but it's probably infinitely more sophisticated than that. You know, that dance between all of these different elements, so that when two things stop being opposites and different, you know, they're not
That meets at the heart.
the unknown.
Yes.
And they just dance, and you know, like that beautiful flock of birds or whatever that we see, that, you know, these elements within us, they start becoming spirals of creation.
Oh, I like that.
And just a sort of merging of all of this together, because it takes me back to Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me. And when she does transition into that, I don't know, let's call it an in-between space. Officially, she's died in hospital, and her father comes to talk to her, and they have a beautiful conversation. And she said, in this place, she understood that she just understood everything, the whole piece, all at the same time in the generous present moment. But it was so vast and so huge. And she talks in the book about how, you know, coming into our human bodies and having this experience on earth is so that we can experience each individual emotion in single doses, that we get to explore its depth and richness and take that back to the whole. Because when you're experiencing all of creation all at once, all at the same time, and again, it's just two opposites, isn't it? Feeling absolutely everything. It's almost like convergent, divergent, you know, but on an unbelievable
Humongous scale.
scale. Humongous is a good word. Yeah. So, you know, it is a beautiful dance, isn't it? Beautiful dance.
One of my favorite images is the infinity symbol. But you know, you've got that the ankh, which is like a loop, and then that symbol. So for me, it's the other way around, where you've got the, you know, the upright, but then the infinity symbol is on the side, and for me, it's the heart where the two loops meet.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, is my understanding what 0 point is, where you dance with the duality, you dance with the known, you dance with the unknown, and all of it just converges in your heart, and it all just meets there, and, you know, goes up, goes down, goes sideways, goes, but everything just meets in the heart. So if it is a dance, what kind of dance is it? Like a tango? A cha-cha? A foxtrot waltz?
I take a lot of dance classes
Yeah.
to it's as remedial therapy for my lack of coordination.
Yes.
And so the past few years, I've really been into Latin dance. So tango is the hardest, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it is a tango. And it takes two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely. But that whole concept of the connection between lack and scarcity and the known and abundance is the unknown. And just how we hold on to safety and security. And because of that, we cling to the minuscule
Yeah.
in the hope that it'll give us safety and security. It's
Yeah.
just it boggles my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sort of how most of the world functions, I think. Yeah.
And this is our job, is to challenge this. Like, how can we do it differently? How are we doing it differently? I mean, we're so lucky to be in a world that where we've got people like Bashar and David Clements and Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and and all of these people to have been bold enough and brave enough to share their thoughts so publicly. Well, it's not just thoughts; it's their beliefs, their way of being, which is absolutely what makes the difference. It's one thing talking from what you've learned, but when you are talking through lived experience,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very authentic.
Yeah.
And I know that you've seen it as well, because we talked about it very briefly. There's a beautiful piece from Zach Bush where he's talking about love and scientists measuring people's hearts and brains, and that, pure love is so incredibly powerful. But so they did experiments with people and they exposed them to thoughts and memories and situations. I don't know how they did it, probably visually or whatever, of pure, unbounded love. And then they exposed people to unpleasant things. And I don't know a huge amount about the experiments. He was talking about it in an interview, and he said that the extraordinary thing was that whilst experiencing these, they had huge bursts in the recording equipment of energy coming through that was way higher, 40 times higher than that of love. And what the scientists found out after much analysis is that it was all about authenticity.
Mm.
And I know these words, again, are subject to interpretation and such like, but that pure source love, you absolutely know it when it's with you, when you feel it, when you feel into it. It's just something quite extraordinary. Authentic love.
Mm.
And also being able to share our authentic truths.
Yeah.
That's also incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And I think people obviously know when it's authentic and can feel it. And it does make such a difference. I was thinking again for the exercise I was doing this morning at who do I admire? And there were the two people that had passed on who I love dearly. But I love Oprah. and, you know, as in terms of a role model. And, you know, she may not be a perfect person, but I think she's authentic and wonderful. But I think what's made her successful is her authenticity and compassion and many other things. But I think that's a huge part of it. And I think people feel it.
It'd be interesting to you know how they measure these things. It'd be interesting to know how much we actually pick up. I can't remember what the statistic was, but our verbal language is like a small amount, a small percentage of our communication. I mean, so much of our communication takes place. Well, you have our physical expressions, the body language. You have the communication aspect, but the amount of stuff that happens non-verbally and energetically, that is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Hi, Renata. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I thought it was at 7:30, but
No problem. Welcome. We're diving into the dance of the known and the unknown, which has been really cool. You're welcome to share what your thoughts are.
can you just give me context of what you're talking about, just so I know?
So the known is basically the 0.00001% of life is everything that we know as our physical reality. And then we have the unknown, which is the 99.99999% of source. And then how are we bringing in this dance between, moving between the realms, moving, how are we bringing it in? And we're basically talking that it's, the heart is the point where everything converges. We were talking about the difference between our mind, the brain intelligence, and our gut. The gut instinct and the difference between that. So just from your experience with all of Dr. Joe's work and all the different things that you've studied and had experience with, what is your understanding of?
I believe, understanding is a belief that the unknown is the real world. The unknown is where everything is that we don't perceive, which is the vast majority of everything in life. And I think we get glimpses of what that means depending on your level, either spiritual or frequency. And because we are beings living in three-dimensional world, if we have more than a glimpse, sometimes time, it kind of like it's just too much, overwhelming. And I think it is essential for us to connect with that more and more, and to have a better understanding of what it means, and also to connect with that from the heart, as you said. But I think the connection, I agree with you all that the connection is the heart. But I think there is a lot of things that it's just like I've heard Dr. Joe, and I didn't understand in the beginning, but it's a lot of kind of like a science. If you really know how to put the puzzles together, I think it's also a way to connect with that. And I do think that people connect with that differently. I don't think there is one formula and one way of doing it, which could be not so well interpreted or not easy for everyone to understand, you know, because everything that has different ways of getting there or that is not easy to understand, it's most likely not well accepted as possible, real, if there is anything that is real. So that's how I see the unknown. I really see it something that is incredible. And all the glimpses that I had in my life, I felt an extreme connection with that feeling of total love and the lost in something that you can't even see because there is no connection with time. Yeah. And it's just it's just incredible. That's it.
Beautiful.
I didn't hear what others shared, but kind of, yes.
Yeah, we won't have enough time to run through everything again. That's why we've got the recording, so we can watch it again. So the idea is maybe what this dance is all about is for us to bring in our own flair, because Norma, you were talking about how we are, we part of this vastness, but we coming through into a very small filter. So maybe the whole dance of the unknown and the unknown is for us to bring it in through our own style and our own filter, our own, how are we dressed up, or what's the message? How are we experiencing it? And it's not per se about the dance rather than how we dance it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we all have our own unique, authentic voice and style and way of living. And that is totally unique. And, I've been thinking a lot and feeling into it a lot these last weeks and months. And the last few days, I've just had this profound sense in my meditations of whatever comes up, it's okay, because it's experiences and it's feelings and it's information, and it's this aspect of Joe talks about the atom being 99.9999999% nothing, which is filled with light and information. And, we perceive 1% of what we think is reality. Our perception of it is like 1%. So, which just boggles my mind. I want to have more of the rest, please. Nice. And it's just so, it comes back to something that Michael A. Singer says a lot. So what's the big deal? We're a tiny speck in the universe of universes of universes, and a tiny little planet. So what's all the fuss about? And it's just, wow. We're making our lives at times so much harder than they need to be. And, all of these experiences are coming in, and just let them come in. And then they can drift off again. And we get to choose which aspects of those that we want to hold on to a bit longer and we want to dwell with. So choose the good stuff, stuff that feels good, and
Yeah.
you know, experience the rest, and then let it go and move on.
Mm.
And yet there's days where I just don't do that. I'm hanging on to stuff that feels rubbish, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, what are you doing, woman? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I think it is about trusting and opening up
Mm.
to as many experiences and as much feeling and as much sensing as possible
Mm.
without attaching meaning to
Mm.
it,
Mm.
and just allowing ourselves to bathe in that
Mm.
fully and take all of that exquisite richness and deliciousness
Mm.
from it. Why wouldn't we want to?
Mm.
She says, asking herself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Mm.
So, yeah, maybe we should all just relook at becoming like children again in our sense of exploration.
Mm. I don't know. Have you had a look at the video that I sent you this morning?
No, I didn't get a video this morning.
Yeah, yeah, you did. My video recording.
Oh, yeah, oh, that one. Yes.
Mm.
No, sorry, I
No,
thought it was another one on YouTube. No, I've just uploaded it, and I'm going to keep it for
I've sent
next week.
Victoria a
Yeah,
recording for one of
yeah.
our other group sessions this morning. And in that, I was talking about a story that happened to me whilst I was living in Munich, and I was freshly divorced. I'd just set up a new business. I had a 2-year-old son that I was then suddenly responsible for taking care of. Huge financial difficulties, honestly. And I started telling a story about Christmas and how I literally didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. But I made all of my son's Christmas presents, and I made him, I thought it was pretty amazing. Actually, I spent weeks making this sort of police motorbike out of cardboard and egg boxes and
Oh,
aluminium and painting and all sorts of things. I mean, honestly, because I couldn't afford to buy new Christmas presents, and invited all the waifs and strays, my friends who couldn't get to go home at Christmas, and so they all brought, you know, contributions or bits towards Christmas, and we had about 20 people in the place. And my son had no interest in opening any of the other presents because he was just so caught up in this homemade
Oh,
police
sweet.
motorbike and zooming around.
Oh, cute.
And my mum had stitched him, made him a policeman's uniform, which came
Oh,
bang on time, and he had that on. I mean, you know, kids in uniforms,
cute.
Spider-Man or policeman or
Yeah.
fire or whatever, it was always the thing. And I was just talking about how it was the time of my life where I had the least
Mm.
material possessions, material. I mean, I was just like way over my head in debt. And yet, looking back at my life,
Mm.
that period of time was so rich and so
Mm.
beautiful and so
Mm.
happy. And I think it was because I just let go of any
Mm.
desire to buy anything, to own
Mm.
anything. And it was such a minimalist existence. But I had all of these
Mm.
beautiful, warm-hearted friends around in this gorgeous community. And it didn't matter what we
Mm.
had because we had open, pulsating hearts and this
Mm.
huge amount of love and this goofy sense of fun. you know, the most important thing was getting together as much
Yeah.
as we
It's
could.
beautiful.
Yeah. And I felt really emotional actually recording it this morning.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about this work. I had, you know, I'd kind of started trying to sort out my health issues and such like
Yeah.
by then, but I hadn't really done any huge in-depth explorations or whatever. But it was just like this knowingness
Mm.
and focusing on what nourished my heart and
Mm.
kept me going.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Thank
It
you
is
for sharing.
incredible how much children they just take whatever it is that feels,
yeah.
you know, it's again, it's not the size or how shiny it's how interesting it is. And I'm sure he knew that you made that, right? Or he didn't know at all. He thought it was from Santa, or I don't know his
Oh,
age.
it was probably from Centre. It was probably from Centre. Yeah, because we
Even
yeah,
even more. Um and I'm sure he had way more to play with because it was homemade, so he had
Yeah.
probably different ways of playing it. So yeah, no, that's incredible.
Christmas presents lasted for months because he would open one and he'd be so intoxicated with it, so involved with it, he'd play with it for days.
Oh, sweet.
And then he'd move on to the next
It's
one.
amazing.
He had this pile of Christmas presents, and it was like, you know, he was so in love with what he'd just opened.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Oh, I love it.
just so lovely.
Gorgeous. Elizabeth, did you want to share something?
No, I just wanted to thank you all. I have to run because I'm going to go
Yeah.
to the other, but I've got to do something in
Yes.
between.
Yes, sure.
So that's beautiful, Norma. And I think I benefited from everybody sharing here. So thank you for including me.
Oh, thank you. It was lovely to have you with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And
It's really lovely having you part of our community.
oh,
You're
you've
very welcome.
thank you. You've expanded my world and my heart. So thank you. Yeah.
Super.
So I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. Thank you. And
You
on that note, I'm going to end our beautiful call. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. And we'll be meeting again in a couple of weeks. Lots of love, everyone.
Bye.
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 Ciao. Bye.